Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.net.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
All right. Here we go.
J-Man on the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aries Podcast Show. And we are literally just minutes away. Our leader is making his way over there here very soon, but we just wanted to start this place out. And Amber and Alora is in the house.
Yeah.
And why are you guys in the house?
We are in the house because we are going to CrimeCon 2025.
There you go.
I thought we were just in the house because you drove us here.
Well, that's too. That's too.
Sorry, we were just awkwardly staring at the camera there for a second.
It's great to have you guys both here, especially you, Laura. Is the studio what you thought it was going to be like?
It's exactly what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it. I like that you guys have like your own little space. We don't have our own little space. We have ours in our house.
We like to call it
pretty cool.
Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Wayne's World.
Party time.
Yes.
Excellent.
So
I just watched that the other day too.
and then we have a special guest with us today. He hasn't broadcasted since 2017, I think. Yeah. You can talk, Joe.
Yep. 2017.
I was still in high school.
There you go. So he decided to come and visit, and he's a creator of MBR.
Yep.
And let me ask you this, because Luke is getting ready, but let me ask you this, Jim. So since you've been back and everything's kind of changed and stuff, what do you think?
Well, I think there was a vision, and my bar is way lower than what you've achieved. I really had just visioned this of everybody's working out of their house, doing occasional shows here and there.
That's still happening. We still have 31 shows virtual. We have just like 2 or 3 shows here in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's the biggest thing. We were pretty blessed and pretty lucky that StreamYard, kind of decided, well, we'll go ahead and we'll kind of partner with you, and see how it is. And like, for example, Amber, she's a perfect example. Amber, for the longest time, she couldn't drive, and now since she started podcasting, now for going on her 2nd year, now she can drive.
Yes, I still can't drive on the highway I've done it once, but hey, it's
Small wins.
yes, small wins.
Small wins. Small wins.
Yeah, when I was in Arizona, we had a really bad rear end collision with a semi, and my wife cannot drive because of that. So
yeah.
And even when she's in the car, we have to take back roads. We can't get on the highway.
We take highways, but I'm constantly flinching.
She closes her eyes a lot.
Yeah, I do.
I hope you don't drive when you're closing your eyes.
Well, I'm driving.
I was gonna say.
You couldn't tell with her sunglasses on, but she was closing her eyes the whole time we were in the car with you.
See, I feel bad because I remember one time I came back from a Pepsi Center with my father-in-law. And my father-in-law, I didn't hear it, but evidently Cass did. And father-in-law goes up to my mother-in-law and he's like, I will never gripe about Chad driving ever again. I'm like, come on, I am not that bad. I'm not that bad, but it's. I'm glad that you're here, Jim. Finally, I mean, it's taken a while. We finally got you here. Now, now that Lucas is back, I'll give you the thunder since it is your show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah. So welcome to the Aries Brood podcast. And we're so glad to actually have like a full studio and meeting people from other stations, that or other channels, it's great to finally meet everybody.
Yeah, it's
Good
great
to
to
meet
be
you
here.
too.
So the Aries Brood podcast is basically just about board games, and and when we're lucky enough to have folks together, then we typically like to play games and whatnot. But it was a bit of a surprise. So we're doing like a little top 10 list of just kind of games that I feel just have like a great table talk. Do you guys like to play board games?
Yeah, we do. We like Apples to Apples, Cards Against Humanity, of course, Monopoly.
A little less of board games, but yeah.
Yeah.
But we still like
Games.
games for sure.
Games.
There's even a little place in our town that has board games where you can go and get snacks and stuff there, which I've been wanting to check that out for a while.
Yeah, you certainly should. Yeah, it's always great to support the local game store.
Yeah.
I mean, because like in so many communities, where else, like, are you going to find some of those things?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's a little different playing with folks as opposed to just ordering something from Amazon and then just, having, friends over and stuff. So they're just different experiences.
Yeah.
So,
Lucas.
yeah.
So just to kind of pivot on that, because board games have become more popular for the current generations, the military has moved toward using board games to help get the younger airmen and military members to think strategically on what move are you going to make, what impact is that going to have on the rest of your units and stuff like that.
So that's fantastic.
They've really made a strong push on trying to create these board games to do development of their military members.
And that's been a great thing. So I frequent a lot of conventions. I just recently, just this last month, was Gen Con, the largest board game convention in the country in Indianapolis. So I was running games there. And then just this last weekend, there's Tacticon, just a local board game convention in Aurora. Okay. And nearly all of the volunteers at all of these conventions are veterans. I mean, so at Genghis Con, which is another convention here in Denver, that one's the largest board game convention in Colorado, and pretty much all run by veterans, and so it's pretty cool to just see veterans involvement, like in all of these gaming communities.
I was that close. I was that close Saturday. Okay. Until you told me that, I don't know. I don't know if I can get you a remote that soon. And then my wife told me, she's like, well, what kind of convention is it? I really didn't want to go. I really didn't. You know how I love remotes, right? I told my wife, they're learning chess.
I mean, a bit of a simplification, but sure.
Hey, it was boring enough to deter my wife. That's the thing. That's the thing. When you're married, that's how you make her say no. You make whatever idea that she likes, you make it boring.
So, well, I wouldn't know anything about that, but I do love a good board game, and so this little list that I've thrown together is just 10 games that I really enjoy because of the table talk that you have at the table. So I found that so many games you have conversations that you never would have otherwise, and like you're either role playing, like a particular character, or you are, I don't know, spending millions of dollars, on various properties and, and all sorts of things. So I just wanted to just talk about some of my favorites. So we're going to start off this list with number 10, diplomacy. So have you guys heard of diplomacy?
No,
I think I've heard of it.
So diplomacy, it's probably like one of like the most pure, I don't know, war games, just because of the fact that there is no dice. There's nothing random about any decisions that you make. So it is very much, like it's an area control game, much like Risk, and, so you've got like the world to conquest, just kind of laid out. And but the thing is, though, is that all of the turns are resolved at the very end. So it's basically just like everybody just saying, you're talking a big game, like literally 95% of the game is just you just talking about what you're going to do on your turn, which could be a complete lie,
okay.
But,
so like a president or like a politician of some sort.
And so then like you're going to I would like to advance into Poland. I would like to like fortify wherever I'm at, or any of these things. And then you at the end, so then you write down like what you basically commit, you make a little social contract, basically, just that I'm going to move from here to there, I'm going to, fortify here or whatever. And then that is resolved at the very end of it. And so or in essence, the end of the turn or the end of the round, basically. And so then you've got, then you add up, like what everybody decided to do, and then whoever has like less troops in a particular place, then whoever had the most troops, then wins, and then they take that territory and so on.
Okay.
But it has kind of like this really interesting following that you've got people playing it by mail and all kinds of things. Yeah, just because there's no dice, there's nothing left to chance, so then you just kind of decide, well, we're going to resolve the turns on this day or whatever, and so it's just it's a peculiar game that is usually just a map, and then you decide on like how correspondence is going to happen, and then you do the thing, and so it's cool. It can be wild, and and then there are some folks, some war nuts, that just play it over the course of a month, or they'll play it over the course of a long while, and almost kind of like treat it a little like, I don't know, almost like your statesmen, that are, are kind of corresponding to other countries and stuff.
That's pretty cool,
actually.
So
That's my my number 10, diplomacy. It's certainly worth checking out. That is just a different kind of table talk experience.
Okay.
So, and when we come back, then we will get into number 9, and and then just start steamrolling ahead with some other great games.
Awesome! I'm looking forward to it.
All right, thank you.
I pledge my allegiance to her, from sea to shining sea. She held her torch to the sky to give the world liberty. What about us? What about we? What about living the American dream? What about love? In God we trust. These are the things they want us all to believe. What about us? What about we, the people? What about us? What about we, the people? The people walk through the streets, holding up protest signs. Try not to repeat our history. Maybe no one will have to die. What about us? What about we? What about living the American dream? And what about hope? Trust God, let go. These are the phrases they want us to believe. What about us? What about we, the people? What about us? What about we, the people? And right now we need a hero, someone who will stand and fight for us. A leader, someone we all know, to wear the shield of America. Oh, what about we, the people? What about us? What about we, the people?
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
All right, and welcome back to the Aries Brood podcast. I am Lucas, and I'm here with Amber and, remind me,
Alora.
Alora. Amber and Alora.
Yeah, don't say Laura. I got yelled at the other day. It's Alora.
Who yelled at you? Oh, yeah, I actually did. My bad. I was just being silly.
So so we just went over diplomacy, just like a wild war game. We are going over just kind of like some of the best table talk that we have run into in board games. And so my number 9 on this here list is Twilight Imperium. Now, Twilight Imperium, God, this game is epic. You now have so many alien factions in this game, and it has come out. It's that this game only keeps getting bigger, but you can play it in about like 8 hours, and so you all have just alien races that some are more focused on trade, and some are war factions, and some are very much into getting like their culture out, and some are very technocratic and such. Okay. And so it's it is such a long game that it's almost like playing out like one of like like the series of Star Trek or something, you know. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it just there's so many turns and you're playing for so long, you know, that it's just very immersive, you know, in and you just like by the end of it, you really get like these alien cultures, or you just feeling like, okay, well, you know, like yeah, well, we are merchants, you know, and so, you know, like, and you are just like really, I don't know, I think, like, you know, anytime that you spend a lot of time with one, you know, like with one mode, you know, like of mode of a game, you know, then you just wind up you know, yeah, I don't know, and just kind of like really really vibing with it, you know. And so
you get sucked in other words.
You really get sucked in. And so Twilight Imperium is just really like one of those games that I see at a lot of board game conventions, just because it's hard to get 8 people together at one time, you know. And so often at conventions, then you'll see just this sprawling table that has, you know, 8 people just playing this epic game. And the board, you know, takes place in the galaxy, you know. So awesome. So it is just it's massive, and you really, I don't know, you just like you really start kind of like assuming a different character, you know, in playing this game. So the table talk can get a little bonkers.
Okay.
A little sci-fi fantasy action.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. I like that. I like that idea.
It reminded me of the Federation when you were talking about the different alien the different alien groups and stuff like that, because you were talking about the technocrats and all those different things. And so I was thinking of the Federation in Star Wars. That's what they're called, right? The Federation? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, you got Federation in Star Trek, and
I thought it was all over Rebel Alliance.
I have that's probably what it is. I
It's
have
Rebel
no
Alliance.
idea.
Star Wars.
Well, and then the Rebel Alliance, in Star Wars, they're all over the place.
I think I get it. I don't know.
Yeah,
you tried.
I tried.
My jaw has like You're the game master. You should know this.
No. So continuing in kind of like the war game vein, which we'll be in for a bit, then we're going to move on to Risk Legacy. And legacy games are really interesting because they create permanent changes in the game. So I don't know if you've ever heard of there's a popular game called Pandemic.
No.
and so it just everyone is just kind of like, or it's like a race to a cure, you know.
Is it a mobile game?
Is it the same thing that we played last week?
No, unfortunately. That was Ravine. So we played Ravine last week.
Ravine. Okay. But like it's the same kind of play. Like you have to survive.
But so in Pandemic, you are all like you're medics and scientists, you know, all just kind of like racing for a cure, like around the world. And you are treating people as best as you can, and while outbreaks are happening around the world.
Okay.
And so then they came out with Pandemic Legacy. And the cool thing about just this legacy series of games is that you have permanent changes in the game, or permanent. Right. So like this place is quarantined forever. No place, you know, no one can go to Bolivia anymore, you know, like, you know, or wherever, you know, the case may be. And so then Risk Legacy is, you know, I think just about everybody knows the game Risk, you know, like, and so Risk Legacy is same deal, except like when you take over like territory, then you can like rename it. And so it comes with like a big old sticker set. And so you are you are like renaming places that and you
Putting
can
your
even,
stamp on it.
yeah, and you're like renaming great great battles that may have happened like at particular places and stuff, and so you're just slapping these stickers like all over the map, and um and and since there's like some kind of like some permanence to what you do, then yeah, the table talk can be a bit interesting in that like I don't know, you start feeling this is mine, this that's
Territorial.
yours. Yeah, it just becomes like far more territorial with Risk Legacy.
Okay.
And yeah, it is it's a
So
fun one.
Don't play that one with competitive people, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Okay.
that's probably probably a safe bet. And so then we're going to move right along to number 7, getting into like a little more casual games, Wits and Wagers. So Wits and Wagers, it's perhaps like one of my favorite trivia games, just because of the fact that you don't necessarily have to be right, but what you do have to do is you have to like choose who might be right.
Okay.
And so
Not
so
a
then
typical
like so it's kind of like I don't know, there will be a question like so something generic like how many continents are there, and then and so then like one person is gonna say, I think there's only 5 continents, or I think there's 12 continents, or 7 continents. And so then and what you do is you put like your answer like on kind of, it's very casino like, in that and so you slap it down, and then everybody just kind of then starts putting their wager on. Now you can double down on yourself, and just like, no, I know there is 7 continents or whatever, or whatever. And then there are others, like that can you may even want to hedge your bet if you're not, like particularly sure. And so like I'm going to put a little money on this person's answer, a little money on that other person's answer, and just kind of spread it out. So so then you can always just kind of like just kind of hedge your bets, like regarding like what the truth might be, and
cool.
and whoever's the closest, basically just gets money and stuff. So so yeah, it's pretty cool. So if somebody who knows a lot, then you may want to just follow like their answer around the board, or maybe put your money where their mouth is, or whatever.
Trivial Pursuit was my favorite game. I used to actually just open up the box and read all of the questions and answers.
Yeah. That was great. Yeah. I'm a big movie nerd. And so anytime that we had anything regarding movies, I would just pour over like those trivia games that we had. Cause we had like some fairly ancient ones. And so like, it was stuff, that was, I don't know, they tended to like lean on, like movies of like anywhere from like the 70s, to like the 40s, I mean,
Wow.
but yeah, I don't know, they weren't terribly current. So but yeah, so that's Wits and Wagers. And so let's move on to number 6. Now this one's a little bit more of an obscure game called Zoo Vadis. And Zoo Vadis, like it is weird. So basically everybody is that you can be anywhere from, you can be like lions and tigers, and then you have flamingos like on the board.
Okay.
And what you were trying to do is like, so anywhere anytime that you're on like a zone in this game, you're trying to move to other zones, and you get points by going to other zones. But the thing is that you get points for going, like, each time that you go to other zones. And so ideally you kind of, in a weird way, you're kind of like, I don't know, getting your population out there, you're getting your animals out there, and whatnot. But the thing is, though, is that all that you're trying to do all game long is ask for permission to go somewhere or not. And it's based on getting the permission of the majority of people that are over where you want to go. And so then, like, if there's 3 people that are at like another zone, you just need to get 2 of those people to want you, to come over there. And each little zone kind of like has only like a certain amount, like of spaces. And so it's really interesting, like, because you want to try to get kind of like as far as possible and just kind of get like the most, I don't know, move around the most, and stuff. And then this kind of, gives you more points and whatnot. So it's very abstract, and but all game long, you're just asking for permission, to go from one place to another. And then probably like the most peculiar or weird thing about the game is that you got like all these little flamingos, and these flamingos are that you are coercing and buying off and bribing, to kind of make your vote worth more and stuff.
Okay, I
so
like that.
Yeah, it's really
cool.
peculiar. So, but yeah, so that is Zuvadis, and we will be back with some more after this little break.
Out of balance and you fell into the ocean again. My heart was sinking when I saw you didn't know how to swim. Tried to pull you out, you said just let me drown. You won't let go of all the things that bring you down. Then I jumped into the water, darkness covered my head. You pulled me down into the deep, I tried to give you my breath, but you didn't care. I touched your face and said, I've gotta let you go, I'm running out of air. Ooh, I can finally see you don't give a fuck about me. What was I fighting for? I guess I'll never know. Can't do this anymore. I'm swimming for the shore. Took off my cape, this superhero will not save you again. You are the one who wears a mask. You are the one who pretends that you don't need my help. Now I've got nothing left. Maybe the bravest thing I can do is to save myself. I can finally see you don't give a fuck about me. What was I fighting for? I guess I'll never know. Can't do this anymore. I'm swimming for the shore. Tried to give you my breath, but I've got nothing left. Maybe the bravest thing I can do is to save myself. I can finally fuck about me? What was I fighting for? I guess I'll never know. Can't do this anymore. I'm swimming for the shore.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
All right, welcome back to the Aries Brood podcast. So we last touched on Zuvadis, and now we're moving on to like another rather obscure like new kid on the block that is called Blood on the Clock Tower.
Okay.
And Blood on the Clock Tower is a fairly like a new game that is kind of in the vein of Mafia and Werewolf, and but it's far more narrative, and you got like a whole lot more, I don't know, powers, I guess, so for instance, you might be given a character where like you are an angel, and this angel can only speak the truth, and so you can't lie, and so then and you may even have witnessed the murder. And it's all, like if you've played like Werewolf or Mafia, everyone
We played
close
that at
your
church, didn't we? Mafia.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
So then it's like everyone close your eyes, and and then when your eyes are closed, and Mafia members open your eyes.
Yeah.
So then now
I've done
Mafia knows who each other are, and or when everyone's closed, then, or when your eyes are all closed, then all right, Mafia, pick somebody to whack. And so
It's been a good decade.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like it's a wild, like a social deduction game, and so Blood on the Clock Tower is it's just another like social deduction game, but it's just a lot more involved in that. So like, for instance, like, like this angel, they can only tell the truth, or then, like, demons, like you can only, lie, or you can only, kill like particularly evil characters, and so you kind of have like good guys and bad guys, like in a way. But I don't know, it's really fun, and also like you have usually like a story moderator that really just kind of like paces things and just kind of keeps track of like who all is who, and so they're kind of like walking around like with like a kind of like a clipboard, basically. Just kind of like making sure that everybody's just kind of like following the rules, because when you've got like new players and such, then it can be a little difficult, just kind of like, kind of following, like your rules, because it's very, like role play driven, but at the same time, like really structured too.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next one, which is what we were just talking about, Mafia and Werewolf. And Mafia and Werewolf, is probably like just like the most I guess the more popular, and really I guess the grandfather, like of, these social deduction games, and there's just so many social deduction games out now that that I would be remiss if I didn't mention it.
Well, I didn't know it was an actual like card game or anything like that.
Oh, well, and they've since kind of like simplified it for folks, and that now they just like give you a card, and so like here's your seer card or your werewolf card, and so then it just kind of makes like your rules like a little more clear or whatever to you. So yeah, so then I think that they've over the years kind of gotten better at just explaining the game to folks and stuff. But yeah, and then also now there's far more roles than there ever used to be. I mean, like you've got like a tanner and a seer. And so like the seer, for instance, like is awake at night, and so then they may have seen it, but then there's like another character that claims to be the seer, like or that they can claim to be the seer. So then they're spreading lies, by saying what they saw or whatever. And so yeah, so it's much more difficult just kind of hashing out the truth and stuff from people. So yeah, it's great. It's some great fun. And then let's move on to one of my personal favorite games that I have played recently, called The Bloody Inn. And The Bloody Inn is near and dear to me because this game I am actually like working on a role-playing game for, just because of the table talk of this game. This game, so it's supposed to take place in like the late 1800s in France, and it was actually based on a true story.
Really?
It was in France. You had the Martin family, and they were accused. So a dead body was found like on just outside of their property, and then the local populace then had accused them of murder and a whole lot more. So because these particular people were not very well liked, and so like the pitchforks came out, like against this family, and so being that they were under at the time they were under Napoleonic law, and so basically anybody who had an opinion, or then it was admissible into court, and so then so now you had like 100 witnesses, that were just telling them that their missing uncle, like was last seen here, they have lost pets to this place, and so by the end of this week-long trial that they had against this family, then they had like 100 accusations, like of cannibalism and murder, and theft and all kinds of stuff against this family. And so then they wound up, being beheaded at the end of this week-long trial, and yeah, and so it and like what exactly the truth was, is hard to say. And so, but this particular game, you play as this greedy family of innkeepers, and so then you then are welcoming people into the inn, and you're just trying to take them for as much money as possible. You're trying to take them for as much money as possible, and then you are you're then so like anybody, I don't know, I love coffee a little too much, and I had forgotten mine.
This reminds me of the Bloody Benders. Have you heard of them? It was a family out west. I can't remember where at, but they had an inn, and they would murder people, and they had like trap doors and all kinds of things. And it took a long time for the community to figure out what happened. And then I don't even think that any of them actually got arrested because they all ran away and stuff. It's a very interesting story.
And so it was just like the wild table talk of this game, because so one of the more controversial, I don't know, kind of elements of this game is that at the very end of this game, if you still have, because among the people that are entered that come into the inn are police officers, and so then if there are any police officers like left, after your carnage, then there's a police investigation. And if you have any bodies laying around that you haven't buried, or taken, then you have to pay off, the police, and so so then you're penalized, just for not, having hidden your bodies and such, so but it was just this like irreverent, macabre, table talk that really inspired me to write this role-playing game, and to write it from both like the perspective of investigators that are trying to come to the truth of this game, or of this inn, or to be a cooperative game where you all are just trying to get away with something, and cover your tracks.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So
excited to see what you do with it.
I'm really looking forward to that one. And that one I'm pretty close to a first draft of that one.
Cool. Awesome. That's so good to hear. Sounds like you have a
Yeah.
lot of passion for it. So that creates the best kind of art.
Yeah, I like to think so. I sure hope so. So, but yeah, so Bloody Inn, definitely high up on the list, like of just of like table talk, that games that I just adore.
I may have to get that one.
Yeah, it's a great
I've
one.
definitely heard of that one.
Really?
I haven't heard of a few of them on here, but I've heard of that one.
Yeah. And I only know this just because like I had reached out to like the people that made the game and stuff, but they just recently like re-released the game because it was out of print for a little bit, just some corporate shenanigans, but so now they have kind of control over the rights of the game and everything, and so then now they just recently, just a couple months ago, did like a reprint, and so it's now accessible in stores again.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
That's so cool.
I might check it out.
yeah. And so then and continuing in the vein of like mafia and such, then we'll move on to the to number 2, and number 2 is The Godfather, Corleone's Empire. Now this is a big mafia game that kind of like it's almost like the the prequel, like to the movies kind of. So it's, you just kind of see, like Corleone family just kind of like grow up, but what's cool is that it, touches on like a lot of characters, that if you're a fan of the movie, that you really, you know who Sonny is and all these, all these characters, and, and here's Michael, and so, and you can kind of like play out, this movie maybe in a different way, like maybe Sonny, like becomes, like the Godfather, and not Michael, like maybe, like you start kind of like, kind of fleshing out the family a little differently, than the movie did and stuff. And so so yeah, I don't know, it's kind of fun to play it out just kind of in a different way, and so so this picture is a little deceiving in that there's a lot of fiddly bits, actually it's like a fairly short play, you know, and for as many, you know, cards and such, you know, as it has, like it's actually a lot easier than it looks. But yeah, but the Godfather, Corleone's Empire, is it's just like a, I don't know, great way to kind of like live out your, I don't know, mafia fantasies and stuff, and you know, and just maybe play out the game a little differently than you would have, or maybe the way that you wish it would have gone, or
what coulda
whatever.
happened.
Yeah. So
Crimes without consequences.
right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. And so our final pick that I really feel is almost like a, gosh, I don't know, maybe it's an antithesis to this list, you know, is that there is no table talk, you know, or very little, very limited table talk for this version. And number one is Mysterium. And so Mysterium, one of the players is a ghost that has witnessed a murder.
Really?
And everyone else is paranormal investigators, you know, that are kind of coming to a place to look into this murder. But the thing is, though, is that this ghost cannot talk, and can only give images into the minds of these paranormal investigators. And so what you were trying to do is the ghost character kind of has like a little divider, you know, and they have images of kind of like a murder weapon and of a place, you know, and so then what you're doing is you're trying to kind of like arrive at, you know, like what those objects might be, you know, or where
telepathy.
Yeah, where it happened, you know, and stuff. And so you're doing seances at the crime scene, you know, and stuff. And so then you are giving the ghost images. So like the ghost is giving you images. So there's another game called Dixit, and Dixit is like another like really super abstract game where it's all just pictures, all of the pictures of like circuses and clowns and animals and I don't know, pouring water, all kinds of weird stuff. And so you're given all these like, you know, abstract images. Okay, well, I have a picture of like a glass of pouring water, and I've got, you know, like somebody like falling off of a cliff, and I've got, you know, like you just have these random images that you're trying to arrive at, like what the ghost is trying to tell you, you know, and so then, you know, and so you can ask questions. So and all that you get is you just get knocks, and then that's it. That's all the ghosts can do, you know, and so they're not allowed to speak at all. And then they have these cards that are images and stuff. So yeah, so it's pretty wild, and perhaps like just one of my favorites. I mean, because it's just very you know, it's very on theme, you know, like for the kind of game that it is, you know, so then being that communication is so limited, then you're really just you're just talking to the other paranormal investigators, you know, and it's like, what does it all mean? You know, like, and
fun, though.
you know, and yeah. And so yeah, but it's just fun, just kind of limited to reading like all these little images and just trying to make heads or tails of it and stuff. So but yeah, so it makes for just like some very fun kind of frustrated table talk that that really suits the game in a lot of fun ways.
Cool.
So
It's a good time.
yeah.
I like it.
So what is some of your guys's like favorite kind of table talk, or like around the table? What
is your
kinds
poison?
of games?
Our table talk or like games that have to do with table talk?
What's your favorite experience that you've had just kind of at the table with friends or family?
I used to play a lot of Cards Against Humanity back when that was like a big thing back in the day. I remember my friends and I at my old job at McDonald's, we created our own cards that had to do with each other, and it wouldn't be relevant unless you played with that one group of people with all the stupid inside jokes and stuff. But
they have a TikTok. They have a game on TikTok. It's called "Go F Yourself."
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
my bad.
It's kind of like Go Fishing, but it's like out of this world rude comments like, do you have a slutty grandma? Yes, I have a slutty grandma. Something
would
like
you call
that.
herself that? Probably not.
Probably not.
But a
Probably
few
not.
bits. No.
But since we got a few minutes, Lucas, tell us, what do you have planned for next Wednesday? What are we doing next Wednesday?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. No, I look forward to bringing a game to the table. As I tried to do every week, and so I hope to be able to see you all here. I don't know. Will it be a role playing
Halloween game, right?
We are in the spooky season,
yes.
So yes, we certainly should.
He can't reveal all his cards yet.
Well, that's true. That's true.
No, I think a Halloween is a Halloween flavored game is definitely becoming in order.
Awesome. Good to me. Thank you so much for having us on here today.
Yeah.
Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks so much for listening to the Aries Brood podcast. And so, we hope to see you next Wednesday.
And we always say, we're here for you, not for us, giving our veterans a voice.
Bye. Technical difficulties.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.